Howdy, hey, hi, Spaceman Josh here, and welcome back to Factorio. Let's go ahead and get right back into the action, right where we left off. So as I was explaining in the last episode, what I want to do with the railway is it'll go from, at least in this portion, it'll go from the train stop by the coal to go across and down in between these two electric poles, and then it'll curve again to go through the past the underground pipes from the steam engines down this way. It'll have to curve down a little bit to get past this, since the conveyor belts will be going to the left. It'll be go a little bit lower just for the sake of how I want to everything play out. By that time the lab will be moved and everything else, that way it won't be here, it'll be somewhere else, and then I can have a safe place for the train stop to go. I'll probably have the train stop somewhere in the middle near the radar, because it'll be a place for loading not only iron plates but copper plates from the same location into two different cargo cars, and then they'll take them to various different places across the map to where they are needed, and if they are not needed, then they get placed into a storage, which will also is soon to be built. Or eventually. I shouldn't say soon. I don't even know where I want to place it yet. But that's the general plan. I know I said it in the last episode. I'd continued talking about it this episode, so that's what I did. We're almost done with the engine research. I believe an engine will also need... Yeah, it takes 3 ingredients, so I will need another one of these, the assembling machine 2, which will require some iron. If it'll let me click on it. There it goes. And so I'll collect that there. I only need 1 though. And it'll take a little bit to make too. You can't see it because my webcam's in the way. It always has the different ingredients it takes to make. Down the lower left, it always has to like making the different ingredients it needs, and before it can actually make the item. Like with the assembly machine in particular, it has to take the raw materials that I have. It has to make 5 iron gear wheels. It has to make the 3 electric circuits in the assembly machine before it can start to assemble the assembling machine too. So that's sort of why. I know you can't really see it. You can sometimes see it, but not all the time. That's sort of why it takes a little bit for it to appear in my inventory. So I have made the engine. And so if we click on railway, why is that still red? What have I not made? Railway unavailable. Did I forget to do logistics too? Why is that required for a railway? Last I checked it wasn't. Was this updated? Or did I just forget? I'm just going to assume I forgot. But we're not making any more red right now. I need to restock that. So it needs 200 of each. So it needs 4 stacks. Do I have 4 stacks of iron plates? I don't. Actually, no, I do. Sorry, I miscounted for a second. I have 4, just enough for 200 science pack 1s. And I need 200, so 2 stacks of copper plate for the science pack 1s. I always know I will have enough copper. That's the sort. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing that I know I will always have enough copper, because I am producing too much. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now there is enough red pack 1s, at least enough resources to make enough to complete the research. I'm going to take a look at how many we have in here. 272, sorry, and 182. Once these stacks build up again, I'll refill them. For now, I think from here, what I'll want to do is I do need to clear some more trees, because the railway will go down and take a 90-degree turn through these areas, so it'll go directly through at least these trees right here, as well as I'll clear some of their surroundings. I'll zoom in a bit as well. Watch the person attack the tree. Let's a little too far, and I need to also get a journal. So down this way, curving in, we'll destroy this tree as well. And I don't like the tree line being too close. I'll deal with it if I don't have to, but I have to wait on the research anyway. So I might as well break some of these trees and back up that tree line a bit. And having these trees in the middle like that is annoying. And now I have 4 stacks of wood and enough trees blocked out for me to be satisfied of the tree placement. And so from here, since I have enough to make engines, I need 20 of them for what I need. So I'll go ahead and actually start making those. Electric, and I need the engine unit, not electric. Engine unit. That is my final say. That's what I'm saying I need, is engine unit. So to make an engine unit, it takes 1 of the steel and iron gears as well as 2 pipes. And I need to make 20, so I need 40 pipes. I can make 57 right now. I'm actually going to place these in here because I don't need them right off the bat. Take these down to 40 because it'll actually take less time to do that, and then shift click to make all those at once than it will to try to actually click that 20 times just to make all those pipes. I also need 20 gear wheels. They take 2 each, so I'll need another 40. I'm at 44. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I can shift click to 20. And then I also need 20 steel. And that doesn't really require any sort of creation. I have the continuous creation of steel up here. It also gives me a good excuse to check up on the coal. What do our numbers look like? 4, 4, 8, and 9. How many we got in here? 147. Huzzah. I'll take the 47. Yeah, and see these iron sticks also, they take an iron plate to make two of them. And so that doesn't require any steel, which is good. Otherwise, they take a lot more steel than anticipated for making the rails. I couldn't remember if it was iron or if it was steel that needed them. But so I'll go ahead and I'll place 20 steel, the 20 iron gears, and the 40 pipes to make 20 engine units. It will take quite a while, because you can see how fast it takes to make one. So if I do all this research for logistics too, and then have to be able to do the railway, just to double check that is the only thing I need for the railway. Then from there, I'll want to go to automated rail transport. That's what I need. And then after that would be fluid wagon, because fluid wagon will be how I efficiently mine uranium ore. Ooh, the radar has found crude oil up here. A combined yield of 423%. That is nice. So, oh, there's some up here as well. Nice. 223%. This one I have down here is 222. There's some iron up here as well. The radars have been doing some favors. There's a lot of coal nearby. I think I remember doing that, but I thought it'd be a little bit better results. I know that one of the custom ways you can edit the map is affect how frequently different things occur. I put coal on the next thing above what everything else was, just that way it was easier to find patches of it. But these are also really small patches with not a lot of stuff in them, so not the best thing in the world. There's a little bit more cons than pros if they end up being a little getting in the way of some other stuff. Like there was some stone here. Probably could be a decent amount of stone if it weren't for the fact that there's a coal right there. But there is a decent amount of stone over here, so you know, in the end, it wasn't that big of a deal. Sort of thinking about my next steps. I think from here, I'll zoom in to get an eye on the map itself. From here, really what I want to do... I had something, then I lost it. But it is time for this episode's nerd alert, so I'm going to pause the video anyway. And while I say today's nerd alert, I'll try to remember what I was trying to say. And so today's nerd alert is about sort of stars. And so I know that in the last episode I told you about a light year and how far that is in terms of kilometers and miles. And so now I'm going to start using sort of that lingo, using the unit light year in terms of different facts that I give. And so with my first fact being that the closest star to the sun, sort of from our solar system from the sun, is Proxima Centauri. It's part of the Alpha Centauri system, and it's about 4.22 light years from the sun. Now the reason I say the sun instead of the Earth is because the closest star to the Earth is the sun. A lot of people still don't quite... There's a lot of people that... it's not necessarily a bad thing by any means, but a lot of people still haven't quite learned that the sun itself is a star, and because we associate it with... the sun is... it's in its own, for us as humans, its own little different little special category, because it's our parent star that we don't... It takes a while for us to sort of associate it as it's just another star. And so it's a conception a lot of people that may not quite fully sort of grasp. And so that's why I say closest star from the sun, is to be perfectly clear. I know that I'm aware, and that I hope that you're all now aware that the sun is also a star. So saying from the Earth, saying the closest star to the Earth is Proxima Centauri is a complete and utter lie. So getting that out of the way, let's go ahead and get back into the game. And so we're waiting on Logistics 2, and then we'll have to be able to do railways. Logistics 2 will also, if you notice, will unlock the fast transport systems, though I will not be upgrading my rails, because in order to, if you look at what it costs to make one of these, it takes 5 iron gears and a transport belt in itself. Collectively, that's 13 iron plates. And to be able to replace all of the different conveyor belts I've already placed down, that is a lot. That's probably maybe even close to about maybe like around half of the iron plates of what I'll be getting out of these mines in the first place. So it's not worth it. In future systems that I make, it may be worth it in terms of, you know, little outposts I make far away from the with a train system. But with this main factory, I'll just keep it with the basic conveyors. The system works. There's no need to try upgrading it, because you'd have to upgrade it all at once for the upgrade to work without any hiccups. With that rant out of the way, I'm going to take a look at our power consumption. We're at 7 all around, which is definitely still good, because we can go up to 30. I've always sort of like talked about 13 as if it was a bad number, like getting 13, 14, but it's not. You know, we haven't even reached half capacity on any of these steam engines, so I'm not too worried about that anymore. I won't have to do that for a while because of having the just because we won't be creating too much else until we can start doing rail systems. That's why I've been trying to find little things to do here and there, like chop down the trees, or you know, make the conveyor belt system a little better. Is because we essentially, I'm stalling because we have to wait on the research. And what I could do is I could make another lab and essentially double the speed. But my main worry on that is just having to worry about the conveyor belt system and everything else. It's not something I want to worry about right now, and it's not something that is a big of a worry. So I'm not going to focus on it right now, especially since I'm going to be taking all this down and placing it somewhere else. But you know, so no reason to upgrade the copper mine. If anything, we should de-upgrade it because we're still producing too much. Iron plate system is at near perfect production right now. It's producing enough to continuously produce to have enough for the Science Pack 1 and Science Pack 2s. There's still 190 in here, 158 in here. I just realized we need more coal up there, and I have taken it up there. Oh, these are okay. So these are starting to run out of fuel, and I need to hurry up there fast. As I go up, once I hit about the halfway mark, I'll start just collecting coal. Head my way up there. Yeah, you can see all the excess that was created. Alright, so put 25 in here. 25 in here. Put 15 in here. And 16 in there. With having all of these with the ore, it'll help keep production up to a maximum for a while. Because if you remember that this furnace isn't perfect, because if you look back at the main factory, this furnace isn't perfect, nor is this one, and they both are powered by two different mines. So if those aren't perfect, that means that this one definitely won't be. Thus, if we have this line of ore, it'll slowly get smaller, but it'll stay there for a while, but it'll slowly get smaller as these stay at maximum capacity. And I think by doing that, it might help get this up to a higher capacity, if not maximum capacity, in terms of production. And we are at, I'll put these back because I'm not using them, so we're at 163 steel currently made. That is well more than enough to create a locomotive, maybe even a cargo wagon, as well as maybe a very basic rail system. It could also just be enough for a locomotive and the rail system we want. At least the very start of it, which is very nice. And so, thankfully I got that early on, and we won't have to really worry about steel for quite a while. I'll go ahead and ride this for a bit as I try to figure out what I want to do next. I just realized there's coal right there in the midst of all the forest. Something we could do is you could try going out and exploring in some of the areas that the radar is not looking at. See if we can find some decent deposits, if anything. I think that's probably what we'll do. And to get ready for that, I'll grab a lot of stacks of copper. Excuse me. And as many stacks of steel as I can get. Sorry, iron. I always call it steel for some reason. Excuse me. And I'll place in, let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll place in 5 there, 5 stacks there, and I'll place 2 stacks in there. I'll place 1 stack in here since I only placed 2 in there in terms of science pack 1s. So I have enough for 100 more science pack 1s. I just stopped trying to calculate how many science pack 2s I'm making, but I'll still stack these in here, ready to go. So now I'll be able to do continuous research even with these this production. I'll go ahead and grab a decent amount of some coal and try to put as much coal into the steel production as I can before I head out as well. Once I put the coal in here, I'll just head out and go exploring. So I'll go ahead and place 5 in here, back to 25. I'll place that up to 37, 35, 28. Not very useful numbers, but they're all above, 25, so I can go exploring. Which direction do I want to go in? I think probably a good idea is to go east. Sorry, no, west. I meant west. If I go west, I might be able to, and I find a good uranium ore deposit over in the west direction. It'll give me more of a sort of a direction of where I want to take rails for my train system. Because I know that we have the uranium ore just south of where I'm at, but that's not a good deposit. I want to find a decent deposit like how I found a nice deposit of stone. So I'm going to start walking this way, and essentially I want to go south a little bit so that way I can sort of line up with my main factory, so I know that when I want to head back from my exploring, and I don't have to check the map, I just know I have to go straight left or sorry, no, right. I have to head just 100% east to head back home. As I say that, I run headfirst into a forest. But thankfully, I didn't get stopped till even halfway through that. But we are hitting the 20-minute mark, so I'll pause here. I'll continue exploring into the next episode. Thank you all for watching. If you liked it, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to see more of my videos and hear more nerd alerts, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you want to also turn on notifications. Thank you all for watching again. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Spaceman Josh out.